The Mexican-American War started on April 25, 1846 and ended on February 2, 1848. It had a politically divided and militarily unprepared Mexico fighting against the U.S., at the time led by James Polk. James Polk believed the U.S. needed to fulfill its manifest destiny and spread across the continent. James Polk wanted to re-annex Texas and reoccupy Oregon, as well as buy California and New Mexico from Mexico, but was declined. Polk then issued an attack near the Rio Grande, which led to many battles and many more U.S. victories. James Polk was one of the many important figures during the war and was the 11th President of the United States and the leader of the U.S. during the war. As said before, he is the main cause of the war, but Polk also ordered military units into battle, resulting into U.S. victory time and time again. Winfield Scott was an experienced U.S. military leader who was a huge reason as to why the U.S. won the war. He led battles not only in the Mexican-American War, but also in the War of 1812. He led many raids on Mexican forts and eventually led the U.S. Army to conquer the capital of Mexico. Santa Anna, or Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna, was a Mexican politician. He took part in fighting back Texan forces in the Alamo, but also led his own invasions during the Mexican-American War. During the war, he contacted James Polk. Then, Polk arranged for a ship to bring Santa Anna to him so they could discuss matters of peace. But instead, Santa Anna took charge of Mexican forces and led them to war afterwards. After the war had ended, it was clear that the U.S. had accomplished more than the Mexicans. They won most of the battles and gained over a third of Mexican land after all the battles had ended. The U.S. had won battles such as the Battle of Palo Alto, Resaca de Palma, the Battle of Madrid, the Battle of Buena Vista, Battle of Cerro Gordo, and the Battle of Mexico City. After the war had ended, the U.S. and the Mexicans decided to sign a treaty named the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, which let the U.S. take over the territory that the two sides had originally fought over. After the war had ended, the U.S. had gained Texas, California, New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, Utah, Wyoming, Colorado, and Oklahoma. One of the major battles in the Mexican-American War was the Battle of Palo Alto, where 3,700 Mexican troops fought against 2,300 American troops. The U.S. were led by Zachary Taylor and the Mexicans were led by Mariano Arista. Arista attempted to take over Fort Texas, but diverted his men to prepare for a sneak attack as he heard that Zachary Taylor's men were coming. When Taylor arrived, both sneak attacks failed and the U.S. had won. Another major battle of the Mexican-American War was the Battle of Buena Vista. This battle had an extremely outnumbered group of American forces against a much larger Mexican force. The war was more of an artillery battle, but despite the U.S. being outnumbered, they had more mobile and accurate artillery than the Mexicans, allowing the U.S. to win. After his defeat at the Battle of Palo Alto, Arista returned to fight the Battle of Resaca de la Palma. Arista set up his troops at a riverbed known as Resaca de la Palma. Once again, Zachary Taylor appeared and took on Arista's Army of the North and came out victorious.